Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, welcome back to the Little Shop of Nerds, the podcast, everything nerd related to everything from movies, comic books, to anime and manga. Here's your two lovely hosts, Mike. Hey, what's up?
And Julia.
Alrighty. Today's hint is
Let me pull it up again. It is put up your swords, but they're actually guns.
yes. Today we are going to talk about. Okay, I'm done. Anyways, today we're going to talk about Romeo and Juliet. But here's the thing. Yes, we're going to be talking about the 1990, was it six?
Yes.
With Leonardo DiCaprio and
Claire Danes.
Danes. And pretty much this is going to take place in modern day. and they don't use guns, they don't use swords, they use guns. And before you guys go out there and say, I don't want to watch Romeo and Juliet, I don't like Shakespeare. I'm like, girls, just show this, he'll shut up because it's got guns, fighting, and everything to do with mafia. It looks like a mafia story mixed with Shakespeare. I would give it a watch.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite movies. I do say that a lot about a lot of the movies that I watch, but this is definitely one of my favorites. Just because, for the most part, Leonardo DiCaprio, this is when he was hot.
And before,
I mean, he is still attractive now, but
this was before he started dating people in their early 20s.
yeah, before he started dating women that were younger than 25 and then breaking up with them after they turned 26.
Imagine that, though. Be like, you're on a date with him when it's your 26th birthday. He's like, this is going to be awkward.
I think he, breaks up with them, a little bit before they turn 26. And, I mean, he's perfectly capable to do whatever he wants. He can date whoever he wants. He can choose who he dates. He can choose what age that he wants to date.
As long as they're adults.
But it is a bit creepy that these girls are pretty much aware that their time with Leonardo DiCaprio is, on a timer, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, hey, as long as they know. But still, I'm just like, it's kind of messed up. But besides that, yes, we're going to be starting a new series now. We're going to try to do some Shakespeare movies.
Shakespeare-inspired movies.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them. We can also, there's 10 Things I Hate About You. We can also do that. Was it Much Ado About Nothing? And
yeah, there's quite a few out there. So, just like we did with our, we just finished up our Cinderella
series
last week. So, this week we are going to be starting on our Shakespeare-inspired movies. So, if you missed anything from our Cinderella series, there should be there will be a playlist, so you can go through and watch them all. And once we are done with our Shakespeare movies, then there will also be a playlist for this one as well.
yeah, and never know, we might do the same thing with Demon Slayer when it finally ends.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited for. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, let's get right into it. See, it starts off in
Verona.
But before that, they do like a little clip what's going to go throughout the film. And it looks like it was, and I tell you how it looks. This will look like a good trailer, like a good movie trailer during the 90s. You'd be like just sitting there eating your popcorn in the movie theater. Yes, everyone, we had to go to the movie theater. We couldn't stream shit.
I mean, people still go to the movie theater now.
Not as much.
Yeah.
But still, you like go in there, eat the popcorn, and you hear, next summer, you're going to see what's going to happen, right? What's coming out? Leonardo DiCaprio as Romeo. And Romeo and Juliet, be there. Anyways.
That was horrible, Mike.
Fuck you. I suck at improv. Not Robin Williams. R.I.P. But anyways, like I was saying, it's just how it plays off like a movie trailer. Then it opens with Barcelona.
You mean Verona?
Whatever.
You don't even. Yeah, do you even know what you're talking about right now?
I'm hyped out on fucking energy drink. I want to go home and sleep.
I don't even know where the fuck you got Barcelona from.
Who knows? Whatever you say.
It's Verona.
Verona.
God.
Fuck off. Anyways, Verona. It opens with Romeo's cousins getting gas at a gas station. And they do the whole, they filling up the car.
You learn their names and everything.
Yeah. And here comes is it Capulets?
The Capulets, yes.
And they're filling up. They're pretty much, they're just minding their business. And, the Montagues were being idiots and stuck his thumb in his mouth just to mock him. And that's when it...
Yeah, there was probably people that died because they were, shooting at each other. The Montagues drove off with the gas pump still in their car. And then Tybalt dropped his cigarette and it caught on fire.
And Tybalt is played by John Leguizamo. You might know him from...
He was in Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. He was also in the Super Mario's Brother movies with Bob Hopkins. He also did that Tu Wong Fu with Patrick Swayze when he's a drag queen. Maybe we should put that for our next LBGQ thing. Anyways, they do the whole... In the play, it's swords fight. But here's the thing, they use guns, and you would have to look at it close. It'll say sword, and the kind of type of, a sword, maggot. You get the point.
Yeah, it will have, different types of sword names on their guns. So, rapiers, stuff like that.
Yeah, and what was it? They're pretty much having a gunfight. You got people... You have the chief of police in the helicopter. And this, throughout the whole movie, everything is a fast pace, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Moving in a fast pace. And music going off. People still speaking Elizabethan. Still using Shakespeare words in a modern day tone.
Yeah. So, I admit that the two families do really seem mobbish. And it's really funny, or not funny, but it's kind of cool because at the beginning of the movie, before all of that happens, there's a narration talking about what's going on. There's a woman, she's on the TV screen, and it's slowly moving into the TV screen, and then it kind of shows it kind of foreshadows stuff that's going to happen later on in the series.
Yes.
But it's very, 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 very mobbish. And, just so, the sword fight happens, the chief of police is dude, he goes off on him. He's like...
Yeah, and what was it? Romeo's dad is in the... What? If this was during the sword fight scene? Or the gun... Whatever. He's in the... his limousine, and over the top it says a long sword, and it was a machine gun.
Yeah.
And, the two dads who played... the guy who plays Romeo dad was he played the sheriff on First Blood, the first Rambo movie. And the guy who played Juliet's father played in Goodfellas.
Yeah. So, they, just... It's basically just like the play, except for it's set in modern day.
And, how you pronounce it?
Verona.
Verona is pretty much looking like downtown Los Angeles.
Pretty much, yeah. So, then we meet Romeo.
Played by the greatest, Leonardo DiCaprio.
And he's just kind of sitting on the beach, pining after Rosaline. which I think she ends up being, I think she is a Capulet, because I think she is the cousin of Juliet. And he's just talking about, like, with his cousin about how much he likes her and loves her and blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, basically just being Romeo. And then it cuts to the Capulet household. So they are getting ready to have a party. Because I think it was just because.
Whatever it was.
But they were going to introduce their daughter to the guy that they want her to marry, which is played by Paul Rudd.
And yet, somehow, from 90s today, he still looks like he doesn't age.
Yeah, I think he's a robot.
Well, I know it wasn't in the Deadpool Wolverine. What was it? They made like a shelter out of a giant man skeleton. And Ryan Reynolds says, Paul Rudd finally aged. But besides that, yes, I'm like, he pretty much a good, nice cast. Pretty much, wants to marry Juliet to him, and she doesn't want to.
Because she's like really young too. Because in the actual play, she's supposed to be 13, and Romeo is supposed to be 16.
Even Great Beer.
So it's not like the age difference between them isn't as bad, but we don't know exactly how old she is supposed to be in this film. But Claire Danes, I think, was 16, and Leonardo DiCaprio was like 21. So, yeah, they had to kiss. There was a few kissing scenes between the two of them. I mean, I know it's just movies, but knowing, I'm hoping that Claire Danes' parents were on set when this was all going down.
I do know, what was it, when Martin Scorsese did Taxi Driver, like, I do know they had, like, what was it, Jodie Foster was like 13, 14 at the time. They had to switch her for the sex scenes with her older sister, but he did bring in psychologists just in case if it messed her up in every way.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that they did the same thing with Claire Danes. I mean, they didn't really do anything. I mean, if you're familiar, I'm pretty sure that everybody is familiar with the story of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So everybody knows what happens. So I think the most traumatic thing was probably what happened at the end of the movie.
Yep.
But I mean, with her being... Okay, so, I mean, this is probably going to sound creepy. So, the age of consent is 16. So, she was old enough to consent. I'm not saying that anything happened. But, I mean, with it just being kissing, I mean, it's not as bad as it could be. Because they didn't really do any, like, sex scenes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, before we get more flagged for our channel, let's just, right now, we get it. But let's move on from that. And
yeah, okay, so we go back to the party. Juliet's mother is dressed as Cleopatra.
And Juliet's dressed as an angel. Her cousin Tybalt is dressed as the devil.
I think so.
And I think her father is dressed like Caesar.
Yeah.
And
Cleopatra and oh no, it was Cleopatra and Mark Antony that.
Anthony, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So so Romeo's best friend was able to get them invitations to the Capulet party. So, Romeo was dressed up as a knight, and his best friend was, I think it's supposed to be Tina Turner?
what was his name?
I don't remember, but he was dressed
as a woman.
Yeah.
It gives him, like, I assume it? Well, in the play it's different, but I think it's acid, but
Yeah. So they,
hang on.
he's looking up the name of the friend, his best friend. Mercutio.
Mercutio. And let's just say he has like a little high on life and he acts high and mighty.
Yeah.
But yes, they go to the party.
Tybalt sees Romeo, and tries to say something to his uncle, like, hey, Romeo is here, and he's just like, Capulet is just like, okay, let him have fun. He's not here to cause any problems or anything. Like, he was just like, because they did say that in the, when they were talking about it, like on the radio or something, they're like, if you're from either the Capulet or the Montague family, come and break bread with us. And so, like, they were okay with Montagues coming, but I don't think they were expecting Romeo to come. And Romeo did come. He meets Juliet. He falls in love with her at first sight. She falls in love with him at first sight. They share a few stolen kisses in the elevator. Really, like, everything's so fast-paced. There was a scene, though, with her mother and Tybalt kissing. Like, with, like, tongue, it seems like. It was a very,
Well, don't forget, when this play came out, it was during the time where everyone thought incest was cool.
Yeah. So she meets, Paul Rudd's character, and Paris was his name.
Paris.
And she's just kind of like, about it. And then her and Romeo share some more, stolen kisses, because he sneaks back in after they leave.
And that's the whole Juliet is the son,
Yeah, the whole, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, for if thou wilt not be but for my love, I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Yeah, and, they pretty much do the swimming in the pool, kissing, whatever they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, Romeo... Now, before we go on, there's a Catholic priest in the play, in the movie. He's what? He's the guy who made the medicine that simulated death. It slows down the heart, make it look like you're dead, but you're not. You'll be passed out for a day or two, and
yeah. Now remember, this all happens over the span of like a few days. It seems like.
Yeah. Now, but here's the thing: when he's like doing the garden work and showing the thing that he can make the medicine with, he's shirtless. I'm like, okay, I get greenhouse hot. But there were altar boys there, and I'm like,
I mean, they were students learning from him. I mean, I don't... Why are you bringing that up? Like, I don't think anything was going on between them.
I know, but I'm just putting that out there. It was kind of weird.
They're in a greenhouse, and it's hot.
I don't know.
And then, when Romeo came in, he had to go somewhere with Romeo, he did put on a shirt.
I know, but I'm just saying it was kind of weird.
He had a cross tattoo on his back. And he was drinking.
Well, Catholic priests can drink. Because, I know...
I don't think he was supposed to drink whiskey.
Hey, pick your poison. It doesn't matter. But either way, yes. And what was it? When he put on the shirt, he was wearing, like, a Hawaiian shirt. I'm like, all right, this priest likes to get down.
Yeah, and then Romeo helped him put on his robes and everything. Because then he's talking about how he was in love with Juliet. And he's like, well, what about Rosalie? And he's like, oh, I don't care about her anymore. I love Juliet. And he does agree to marry them. Now, this is the next day, okay? Everything is moving so fast.
It's a fast-paced movie.
Yeah, the play was fast-paced, too. Because everything happens, like, over the span of, like, a few days, it seems like. So, Juliet doesn't really want to marry Paris. There was a fight that breaks out between her and her parents about it. And they're like, yeah, you're going to marry Paris, like, on Thursday, and she's like, I don't want to, because at this point, she's already been married to Romeo. So Romeo and her, like, they have a small private wedding between the two of them. At one point, Mercutio, I think this is, so Mercutio dies, because Tybalt comes to kill Romeo, because I think it was because Romeo was at the party.
Yep.
So he comes to kill Romeo. Romeo doesn't want to fight him because, technically now that's his cousin, because him and Juliet are married. Mercutio tries to protect him. He gets stabbed with a piece of glass. He dies.
And says, curse upon your house.
Yeah, and then Romeo fucking loses it and goes after Tybalt. There was a car chase scene. Romeo rammed into Tybalt's car. The other Capulets that were in the car had passed away, except for Tybalt, and then Romeo shot Tybalt and killed him.
And he hides from the police, but he's also going to be exiled a little.
Yeah, they ended up banishing him, and so that if he comes back to Verona, they would kill him.
And Juliet's father needs to marry. Told her she needs to marry Paris.
Yeah, then that's when it was. Yeah.
Then a lot more happens. She goes to the priest.
Yeah, Juliet had actually the night after Tybalt had died, that night I think it was. He went to Juliet's room. They consummate their marriage. And then he leaves the next morning, and then that's when, Juliet found out that she had to marry Paris, when she was going to marry Paris. Then she goes to the priest, tells him that if she would be forced to marry him, then she would be dead. She would kill herself. And then that's when the priest gave her the medicine. He's like, I will send a letter to Romeo telling him what has happened, so he can come and get you, and then you two can run away together.
And when he sends the letter, it was by FedEx.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't call it FedEx, they called it something else, because at this point, he is actually living he's living in in a trailer, not like a trailer park. There was like a bunch of trailers, though. So it's kind of like a little small trailer park, and he lived in like a little camper. That's where he was living. They went up to the door, knocked, no one answered. They left a note. The note fell off the door. Romeo didn't get it in time. And then, Juliet drank the medicine. They said that she was dead. And while they were having her funeral, one of Romeo's friends walks in, sees it, and he runs off to tell Romeo. Well, the priest sees him and he's like, oh shit. Finds out that the letter did not get delivered to him. So then he tries to send it again, and just as the guy arrives to give it to him, Romeo's friend shows up, tells him what happened. They go off to the city, to Verona. Police are waiting for him.
And they go to the guy. There's one guy he was going to get poison from. He gives it to him. They go to the church, and goes in. And pretty much, Yeah,
he's like talking about how he loved her and everything. And then he drank the poison. And as he drank it, Juliet woke up and touched him. But at that point, it was too late because the poison that Romeo got was very, very strong. And he paid a lot of money for it, too. Because at this point, Romeo is, also running from the police.
Yes.
Because the police are chasing him. He has a gun. He's shooting at the police. He takes a priest hostage. At the church where Juliet's body was. He took a priest hostage then he pushed the priest aside and went inside and shut the doors and locked it so they couldn't get in to get him. Then he, went up to the altar where Juliet laid. Very extravagant altar, actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, he drank the poison. She woke up. She kissed him, and she's like, "You left no drop for me." So then she picks up his gun, and she shoots herself in the head. And that's pretty much the end
of it. And it zooms out to the TV that was in the first part. And
yeah. So in the first part where they were talking about, where they were showing foreshadowing, it was like the two families like standing in the rain or something like that, and I think it was Prince. I think was supposed to be his name. The chief of police. He's standing between them, and he's like, "Because of what you two have done, you both have now lost your children."
Well, yeah. What do you expect?
And, they look all, like, sad, because, Tybalt died, and then Juliet died, and then Mercutio died, and Romeo died. And then, like Mike said, they zoomed out on the TV. It was the same woman before talking, basically saying the same thing that she said at the beginning. And then the movie ends.
And that's that.
Yeah, so it was directed by Baz Luhrmann or something like that, which he is actually the one that, he had directed Moulin Rouge, and I can definitely tell with the way that it was definitely similar. Let me see if I can't get a rating for this. Yeah, Mike's over here, like, vegging out. Okay, so the critics gave it a 74%, and the audience gave it a 77%. So basically, this was a very I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I give it more like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it looks like it's supposed to, they were in Miami, actually, it looks like.
Okay.
They filmed in Miami. But it does look like downtown Los Angeles. But I probably, I don't know, I'd probably give it a little bit more. I would probably give it, maybe 8 out of 10.
Well, either way, it's still good. A lot of fast pacing, everything, and.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you also say the lady who played Juliet's handmaid was what is a handmaid? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Played in Harry Potter?
Yes. I completely forgot I told you about that. Yeah. So the woman that plays Juliet's handmaid or her wet nurse or whatever, she actually played Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter movies.
Nice.
So I had actually forgotten about that. So if you've ever seen the Harry Potter movies, Professor Sprout is in this movie too. So I recommend you guys giving it a watch because it is actually it's got gunfights and it's fast paced.
It's still Shakespeare. I would watch it because
romance.
Yeah, and like I said, I would watch it and do everything,
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's it. What's the next week's hint, Jules?
So next week's hint is actually Hashira.
Oh, okay, guys. You get that. You'll find out when we get to that the following week.
I mean, y'all probably have already figured it out at this point.
Yes, and before we go, we also want to tell you, hey, we want to get up to 50 still, and we'll show our faces, but we might do some once we get up to 50, show our faces. We might start a special project with our podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you because we're going to keep a secret.
Yeah, because we have already talked about it, and my sister has said that she wants to take part in this project as long as she's drunk for it.
Yeah, great. And
so
and once we do this project, put in the comments, do you want us to keep doing it, Or if not, maybe we'll do a couple prototypes of it and see what we can do.
Yeah.
Hell, if you have more, we'll do what we can.
Yeah, if you guys have anything else that we want to watch, just put it down in the comments below as well. Share this around to all your friends who might like it.
Nerd conventions.
Like, subscribe, comment, that type of thing.
And if you're also goes to conventions of anime, video games, and everything, show them this podcast and give us more subscribers.
Yeah. Which I probably should have done that while I was at MatsuriCon.
I told you.
No, you didn't. You didn't say anything about it.
I said when you're there trying to do some advertising.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
You didn't hear me.
Because you didn't say it.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh my God. Whatever. Just like and subscribe.
Yep, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.